Welcome to an episode of Marketing for Your Boring Business, where we're helping your message get seen in a cluttered news feed. Today, we are talking with Michael Vallee. Did I say that right?
That's right,
Yeah,
Vallee. Yep.
woohoo! I can sound things out. Today, he is with Social Selling Automation, which helps your business find other targeted businesses through LinkedIn automation. It's actually a super fantastic tool that allows for you to find people you wouldn't think that you could connect with to help grow your business. Michael comes from actually a print background and fell in love with the automation through LinkedIn selling and has become a LinkedIn expert. So today we're going to be talking about how to market your business better using LinkedIn. So how are you today, Michael?
Doing great. Excited to be here.
Awesome. So let's just dive right in. I just want to get right to it. So we all in business have LinkedIn profiles, whether it's for B2B, B2C, and we all know about like the normal stuff. Make sure your profile is set up right, using professional pictures, send connections, stay active, groups, all that stuff. But it's 2017, and I think that it has probably a lot of those same foundations, but better ways that we should be using it. So why don't you tell us what should us business owners be doing with LinkedIn to be better?
Well, that's a great question. And, talking about boring business, I came out of the printing industry. And so probably 20 years of business to business sales in that arena. And basically, it came to the point where all the digital marketing tools that are out there is that people didn't necessarily want the ink on paper. You'd call people and it became pretty much a commodity. And people were bored. They weren't excited when they heard from your print rep or
Yeah.
whatever.
It's so
And so,
funny. It's so funny that's what your start was, because my last job right before I took the plunge into social media marketing was actually working for a printer. And
yeah,
we did like business cards and letterheads, and like the target demographic for them was like dentists and doctors and vets and stuff like that. And what my job was to help like do like card layouts and things like that. And then also I had to call businesses, ask if they needed stuff, and they were just super not digital and super no idea what was going on. So I super understand where you're coming from.
yes, yeah. So, there's still a place for printing in current marketing strategies, but obviously the cost of it can be high, as well as the ability to track it. So, I understand there's still a place in many small businesses as well to have a business card and a certain brand and perception that you create through printing. So, I don't want to diss on it too bad, but it was not exciting. Okay, people did not get excited about it like they do with online marketing and stuff. So, um, basically, I was kind of drowning in trying to sell to people. Harder, these days it's harder to get through gatekeepers, email spam, phone calls coming through. It's just difficult to reach people because there's so many filters and barriers to reaching the decision makers. And so um, I knew that LinkedIn, I had seen some success on LinkedIn. And so what I did was basically sought out some prospecting tools in that arena that I utilized for myself. So just to take it a step back, LinkedIn was originally set up as a referral-based network. So I grabbed some stats real quick.
Oh yeah, shoot. We love stats.
Basically, there's 500 million current users. 100 million of those are active, um, and there's 133 million in the U.S. 40% of people on LinkedIn use it daily. Um, and that what was key for me was that 44% of LinkedIn users make over $75,000 per year. So these are the targeted audience. Recently, Microsoft purchased LinkedIn. It was like for $26 billion or something like that. And so this platform, you know, it's different than Facebook. Facebook is, like cat videos, and it can be very sometimes it can be it's on a more of a personal level. But when people are on LinkedIn, they're really there for business, whether it's B2C, B2B. And so it really is kind of your personal, professional profile that's being perceived in the marketplace. So it's usually people's first impression of you out there. So, and then also a little LinkedIn trivia. The most overused word on LinkedIn, motivated. I'm motivated.
At least it's not.
So
At least it's not the word synergy.
synergy,
That's my.
game changer, some old cliches that could probably
Yeah.
use to not be used so much. So anyway, so I knew that LinkedIn was working, and I was struggling for leads and stuff like that. And so I actually came across a tool that I started utilizing myself, as well as started learning and digging in, getting anything I get my hands on with LinkedIn, because I could see that people respond to LinkedIn emails. By those stats, you can tell people are checking their messages, and you can get to people that you want to reach through LinkedIn. It's no different. LinkedIn is no different than going to like a chamber meeting or some kind of networking event where it's important to show up and be dressed right and be outgoing and be giving. So if you were to walk into that same room and ask everybody, who here has something to sell, they'd all raise their hands. But if you were to say, who here wants to buy something, nobody would put their hand up, right? So that's the economies that we're dealing with. So so I started utilizing this tool myself, as well as learning about the methodologies, because there's a certain kind of dance or process of doing business on LinkedIn. And and it really starts with your profile page. Uh, and your profile page should be geared towards who is your ideal client. Who are you trying to reach? If you're a real estate agent, maybe you're trying to reach mortgage brokers for referrals. Maybe you're trying to reach investors, builders, things of that nature. So it really starts with who's your ideal client. Who do you want to reach? Who do you want to connect with? Just like you would at the chamber meeting, and who would you kind of go out of your way to meet? And so that's really what you want to gear your profile towards. So it starts with which I see a lot of people right off the bat underutilize the assets that LinkedIn has provided, such as your banner, you know, and you guys do graphics and stuff like that, and so that header is really important. It's people are visual. It's picture's worth 1,000 words, and so people's first perception is your header. And then, obviously you want to have a nice profile picture that's professional. It's not, selfie with, something in the background like you might have that's more personable, like Facebook. It would be more of a professional photo. And I encourage people to even go out and maybe have that done professionally.
I have my profile picture is a picture of me taking a picture of myself.
That's
so,
deep. That's
but,
deep.
But it's also my brand.
Right, it's your brand though. But you're also projecting that creative element, and you guys do have that creativeness, the creativity to offer folks. So, yeah, so that's important, as well as basically people buy from who they know, like, and trust. Okay, right? So, so what else is important on there is that your message is geared towards whoever your ideal client is that you're trying to reach. So you would know what is important to your ideal client. Are they struggling with, a lack of time, a lack of resources? What is it? Where's their pain? And so straight up in your, maybe even in your tagline or something, you might address some of the things that are most important to that person. Okay? So you kind of like one step ahead, so that when they go to your profile, they're going to be like, this guy can help me. He knows my pain. He can help me. So So you'd write your bio, and basically create that credibility. So when somebody goes to your profile, they're going to say, "Wow, this guy knows what he's talking about, or this gal knows what they're talking about in this space." And then you would do that, and then as well.
So let me interrupt you for a little bit. So let's dissect what you talked about with like that bio. So everyone kind of has an opinion about what should be put in that bio. What are some of your like bullet points that you think people need to make sure that they're putting in that bio so that they have that success from it?
Okay, well that's a great question. It's a big question, and it really is different for each individual. It's the thing that I learned on LinkedIn is it's not, I've got this and I want you to buy it. It's like, what can I do for you? It's
Okay.
it's speak in the solution, speak in the value, speak in the um, you're a solution to this person's problem. So what's everything that you write, whatever that may be, is what's in it for them. What's in it for your reader versus some people will say I sell this, I'm an expert at this, but try to integrate, picture yourself reading this as your ideal customer. So that can
So do
look a
you
lot of
think,
different ways.
yeah, so do you think that maybe you don't lead with like, that all that personal information that you put in there first? Like, I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years and I've done these things, and these is what I do for my hobbies, and these are my accomplishments. Rather than that, you should find a way to tell your story through probably solving their problem initially and then maybe highlight that stuff later.
Yes. Well, the thing that'll be most read are your headlines and the first part of your bio. So I would definitely be speaking in what you can do for them. Like in my headline, it's like I help B2B salespeople and business owners generate leads through the use of automation.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I do for them. So they know right away that that's what I do.
That's what you're
So
about. Okay. So you have your bio and then you have like your work experience. Working
yeah.
experience to me has always been kind of hard. So like my Facebook or my LinkedIn profile has like where I work, which is obviously for all on one social media, and I include things like what we do. I've also added like projects to it, like
Hmm.
to show like statistics and things like that. Um, I also try to include articles for like blogs and stuff that we've written or places that I've been featured. But I feel like for the most part, though, that experience section is like the resume part, like where, like if a recruiter is trying to find me or something. So, how exactly would that be relevant to a business owner, like just a basic business owner, like your lawyers, your dentists, your chiropractors, those kinds of people?
Well, um, I can get there, but I think that there's some bigger pillars to establishing that credibility that people know, buy from people they know, like, and trust. So I would start with people are looking for third-party validation and references. So on LinkedIn, they actually just opened up the ability to upload native videos. Um, and as well as LinkedIn content is searchable outside of LinkedIn, and
Hmm.
so they've kind of opened up their platform. That just happened within the last, recently, and so.
So, real quick on that.
Mhm.
So, unlike when I post something on Facebook or Twitter that isn't searchable and in Google, I
Yeah.
something I post in LinkedIn is now searchable in something like
Yes,
Google or
it's
Bing.
searchable out. Yes, it's searchable outside. Yep.
Nice.
It's pretty powerful. Um, so that so so one of the things after you get your ideal client, your picture, your banner done, and we're going to have a little offer at the end of this where people, I'm going to share some information for the audience that they can sign on for if they'd like. It's totally free of charge and can lead you through some of these steps. Um, is is basically is to Some of the big ones are video. So if you can go to your top clients and ask them to create some testimonial videos for whatever your product or service is. If you're a dentist, like, you know, dentist John has been great for me and my family for 10 years. He's always very sensitive. With us, he's always, helping us make these, major decisions, when it comes to cost, to weigh our options. And we really appreciate, his proactiveness. So if that was on his profile and somebody goes and checks in on what he's about, and they read this from a third party, they watch the video, then it's pretty powerful. So you have the ability to actually integrate and have populated right on your LinkedIn profile 24/7 testimonials, and you can also create your own commercial if you wanted, like in a video format to share, what you do how you help your clients, what you're about, that sort of thing. So 24/7, right? It's the ability to regain time in any capacity possible. So those are big. You can also have written recommendations that are below, and that's probably the second level of credibility builders, where people can literally type and you can ask for recommendations through LinkedIn, or you can call your buddy and say, hey, we've done some business in the past. You can call your client, and say, hey, we've done some business in the past. Would you mind doing a recommendation for me? I'm trying to increase the credibility of my profile. You could even write it out and have them edit it. They still need to approve it, but it's powerful. And then the third level of credibility are endorsements, but those are kind of cheap and easy because people can just go on your profile and click a couple buttons and say you're an expert, or you're proficient in these different areas. So I think that those are actually the main pieces to the puzzle. And then you do get into your actually experience, right? So people are going to be, but I don't know how, I think that's further down actually on the priority poll.
Okay. So
Ability.
less about your experience, more about like the value you add and that who you've helped through the recommendations.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
So now that I've tricked out my profile, what's next?
What's next? Well, what I did for myself is people do respond to in-mails, and you have different subscription levels within LinkedIn. You have a free program, you have Navigator, you have premium, and so each one of those gives you different levels of the ability to connect with people, both through messaging as well as invitations to connect. And the lower you are on that scale, the more regulated it is. The more barriers there are. So you can only do so much of that, and LinkedIn will say, "Hey, don't stop being spammy." Okay, you need to make sure that you stay within a reasonable amount. So, or you can upgrade and pay certain fees to LinkedIn to upgrade your account, and you have greater access there. So what I did when I was in printing sales is I was doing that manually and spending, maybe a couple hours a day doing that, because I was finding that's how I was reaching people. But then I came across a software automation tool where I was able to do all those features and functions, and basically the software automation tool did those for me, whether I was at my computer or not. And then when I saw that working, where it literally was driving, sending pre-scripted messages that were personalized and very, authentic, and in my words and in my voice, without me needing to be there, I got excited.
Yeah. So in full disclosure to our listeners here, that is actually how I met Michael. Michael was using his automation tool that he has, and he connected with me based on specific keywords and demographics that I have in my profile. And the message I got from him was exactly what he said. It was like super personable, super, well, also at the same time, maybe generic-y, but more like, this is what I do too. This is, I love to connect and see, learn more about it. And it sounded like a normal proposal to speak with somebody. And then once I responded to the email, that's when he was able to like message with me and build that relationship. And since then, we become Facebook friends, and I follow his business and he follows mine. And I knew that he would be a great person to have on the podcast. Um, so while I know there's a lot of stigma around automation, I think that and this tool that he uses and how he uses it is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it is how we met, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful because and it's just a conversation starter, right? It's just like you don't have time to go around to everybody at the chamber function and meet every person, and it's difficult.
Yeah,
And
but even
so
when you go to those, like you go up to someone, you shake their hand, and you say, "Hi, I'm so and so. Tell me about your business." Like it's in a business forum where you're kind of expected to
yeah.
just talk about yourself and service, and then based on what's said, hopefully spawn it into a more personable relationship.
Yeah, and so I would be willing to bet that the listeners here are small business owners and things of that nature that maybe don't have time to promote their business, and or it's difficult to find what's the right avenue, right? Like what's actually really going to work and gain traction. And so you know, LinkedIn is a great vehicle for that. I just happen to put it on steroids a little bit on this automation, and what that accomplishes it's a conversation starter. It's you may spend several hours a day in the sales process of trying to reach the right person that's in the market for what product or service that you provide. um, they're interested. They're open to talking. And then what the software does is it pre-qualifies. It kind of calls people out to raise their hand and say, "Yeah, I'm interested in having a conversation or networking or whatever." So it's pretty cool. Um, saves a lot of time. Puts probably 10, 15 hours back in your schedule per week. So
Yeah.
good
So,
stuff.
what are the benefits of LinkedIn groups? Are those still a thing? Is that something that people should still participate in? Dissect that
Uh,
a little bit for me.
Well, my personal opinion on LinkedIn groups is originally I thought I had hit the mother load, right? If you're in, even when I was in printing, you're in this and there's all these marketing, advertising types of people. You think like, wow, there's just going to be so much traction here, so much collaboration. Um, my personal experience has been that I really haven't seen a lot of collaboration in that arena, as far as dialogue. Where I've seen the greatest collaboration, conversation starters, credibility pieces is actually in doing writing articles, and you can actually blog on your LinkedIn profile. You can create an image that you can upload, and that'll actually populate on your profile. So if you were a dentist, you might say, you might have a picture of somebody with a, big old mouth open, some eye-catching thing, and then maybe teeth whitening or whatever, and then you would write an article about the options in that arena. So when somebody comes there, they're going to say, "This guy knows what he's talking about." So there's that, or you can even grab other people's content and post that, as long as you give them credit where credit is due, note your source. And that's pretty powerful too, because that starts more dialogue, more on your main profile. In the groups, I really haven't seen a lot of interaction. Maybe a couple likes here and there, but not a ton of dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're doing articles, because I'll do that as well, is it as I don't know if they've done an update for it. I used to be when I would write an article, LinkedIn would send a message to everyone I was connected with saying, "Hey, Desiree wrote an article," and it helps drive that traffic. Do they still do that?
Yes, they do, and it shows up in their email address.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty powerful, right? So depending upon, as you're building your connections, there's for that to go directly emailed to them. They already kind of have a relationship with you. There is a little here's a little LinkedIn hack. I've created. I think that it's sort of powerful when you can create. I've used like some blue emoticons. So they have red, and there's some different things that you can put next to your name that make you stand out. It's not so much on your LinkedIn profile, but when it's emailed and it shows up in color in the subject line, it makes your email really stand out. So
Nice.
yeah,
I've
just a
heard
little
I've
tip.
heard actually a lot of quite a few of the people talk about how they've been using emojis in their subject lines and in their emails, and it's helped increase their open rates. So
Yep.
I would think that this would potentially kind of be the same thing.
Yep. It fits the
So
same thing. Yeah.
yeah. So if I was to post a video up on LinkedIn, do they send an email saying, "Hey, Desiree posted a video," like they do with the notes or the
Uh,
articles, or is that not what they do?
yeah. I'm not sure on that one. Maybe I would
So
think it would go through the same system.
So do you
That'd be
think
my guess.
which do you think would be more powerful, videos or articles for connecting with
Uh,
people, getting your information in front of people
well,
that you're connected with on LinkedIn?
videos where everything's going towards because it's just it's personable. People are able to tell their story better. And they are obviously since they are opening up the native videos, you could literally be you know do a snapshot at a video at a trade show, upload it into your profile, and have it right there. So
Yeah. All right. Very cool. It's good to know. So I think they both are really important to do those still. So um, definitely worth I think doing both
yeah,
of those. So
yeah,
just kind of like to recap and I guess kind of wrap up a little. So make sure your profile is filled out as best as possible to solve a problem for somebody through your
yep,
profile.
yep,
Make sure that you are connecting with people through your targeting through in-mails,
yeah,
post videos, post articles. Anything else
yes.
we're missing? Anything else that we should
Uh,
be doing?
Yeah, so I think that the kind of the background formula for that is really to give. You just meet somebody. Nobody likes to like just meet somebody and hey, buy my product or service, right?
Yeah.
So it's see how you can be a connection of value. So literally the formula would be maybe give, 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 and then maybe ask for a referral. And when you ask for a referral, it's like, do you or somebody that you know, like that because then there's that sense of reciprocity like you've actually shown up as a good citizen within LinkedIn, you've been a person of value, you've offered your help, maybe you've endorsed them, maybe you've written a recommendation if you have some experience with them, you give, and then it's more natural and you do have a right to at least ask for somebody that they may know that can put you in touch because the number one all this online offline printing all that stuff, when I ask people what are your top three sources of leads, the number one that always comes back is referrals, and LinkedIn is a referral based network. And that's the strongest social proof, testimonial, know, like, and trust that you can come up with.
Awesome. So you had
Yeah.
mentioned a freebie. What is that? Obviously, we'll
Well,
include it in the link to show notes. But what is it that people are going to be
yeah.
able to get?
Okay. So we'll provide a link there, but basically it's a series over weeks of every few days of having taking you from step one, of basically increasing your profile link credibility. Everything that I've just gone over is in a documented form, so for you can cross reference. It just shows up in your email. I'm not selling anything or whatever. It's just basically how to be a better citizen within LinkedIn and to increase that as a referral based source, and it's just on an auto generated thing that over multiple days, and it's
So it kind of allows
for
people to
manually.
work through each piece by piece
Yeah.
every few days.
Yep.
Awesome.
Gives them peace. Yep.
Awesome. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode. Thank you so much, Michael, for helping us know what to do so our LinkedIn can be better and updated for sure. So until next time, thanks so much for listening.
All right. Thanks, Desiree.
Yep. Bye.